What happened to the Camden family after the cameras stopped rolling? Nearly 30 years after the premiere of Seventh Heaven, the cast has experienced scandals, disappointments, comebacks, and dramatic transformations. In 2025, some are brighter than ever, while others have faded from view. So where are they now? Find out. Stephen Collins as Pastor Eric Camden. Pastor Eric Camden is the moral backbone of Seventh Heaven, a devoted pastor, compassionate father, and leader of a dysfunctional family of 7 children. His character exudes a calm authority, always offering advice, yet simultaneously grappling with his own human flaws. For over a decade, Eric embodied the family values that drew millions of viewers to the show. However, Collins's career was never as stable as his characters. Initially, after appearances in Star Trek, the motion picture, and Tales of the Golden Monkey, he struggled to break out of his comfort zone. Hollywood saw him as a likable, good guy, but this image made it virtually impossible for him to play darker, more complex roles. Instead of taking leading roles, he remained in supporting roles or on television. When the film Seventh Heaven was released in 1996, Collins finally found fame. But it also came with a curse. Pigeonholed for 11 seasons as Camden's gentle pastor, he was creatively limited. Even series like The First Wives Club gave him a chance to make a name for himself, but they never redefined his career. In interviews, he admitted that playing the same role exhausted him, even though it brought him fame. His career collapsed in 2014 when a leaked recording revealed that he had admitted to inappropriate behavior with a minor. Projects were canceled, reshoots disappeared, and Collins was banned from Hollywood. The success that was supposed to be a turning point in his career became a burden that dragged him into one of television's most infamous scandals. Stephen Collins played Pastor Eric Camden on the series Seventh Heaven in 1996. At the age of 49, in 2025, he will be 78, and his net worth is estimated at $4 million, a fraction of what he had at the peak of his career. Catherine Hicks as Annie Camden. In Seventh Heaven, Annie Camden is the life of the family, the mother who manages to hold everything together even when life is falling apart. Catherine Hicks brings Annie to life with warmth and strength, showing us a woman who is both gentle and fiercely caring. However, Catherine's career path is fraught with thorns. Before becoming America's mom, she almost lost her role after a tragic car accident in 1995. The accident left her with a spinal injury, and for months she wondered if she would be able to walk without pain, let alone endure the entire series. In the final season, while fans saw her smiling as Annie, she was secretly undergoing chemotherapy. Hicks was diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer in 2006 and chose to keep her illness a secret so as not to affect filming. Behind the camera, she fought for her life, demonstrating the courage for which her character is known. Hollywood isn't easy. Hicks has spoken candidly about the ageism she faced, admitting that after her roles in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, and Chucky, scripts for women over 40 virtually disappeared. The perfectionism that fueled her on set often exhausted her. Catherine Hicks played Annie Camden in the 1996 film Seventh Heaven at the age of 45. She will be 74 years old in 2025 and will retire in 2023. Her net worth is estimated at $2.5 million. Jeremy London as Chandler Hampton. Chandler Hampton didn't appear in every episode, but fans still remember him as Lucy's love interest, a man trying to overcome a difficult past and regain his faith. Jeremy London brought a tenderness to Chandler that made us root for him even though life had dealt him a cruel hand. Jeremy's real life was even more turbulent than his character's past. After Mallrats gave him his breakthrough in 1995, his battle with drugs and alcohol spiraled out of control. What was supposed to be a springboard to a starring role turned into years of headlines about arrests and rehab stints. The pain he endured only deepened. In 1996, he was beaten and robbed by strangers in West Hollywood, leaving him with a head injury and chronic post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Maintaining cleanliness became increasingly difficult for him, and even a stay in Seventh Heaven couldn't erase the shadows that haunted him. His personal life wasn't much better. His marriage to Melissa Cunningham ended in a bitter divorce, which included a custody battle over their son. Worse still, his relationship with his twin brother, Jason, degenerated into public arguments, with each blaming the other for fueling his addictions. Jeremy London played Chandler Hampton in the film Seventh Heaven in 2000, when he was 28 years old. In 2025, He is 53 years old, still struggling with addiction, and his net worth is estimated at just $500. Nicholas Bruno as Sam Camden. You probably remember Sam Camden, one of the mischievous twins who brought laughter and chaos to the Camden household. Alongside his siblings, Nicholas Bruno played the role with innocence and charm, growing up in front of millions. However, Nicholas's story took a tragic turn when the cameras stopped rolling. Fame came too soon. He was just a toddler when the show began, and after it ended, he struggled to find stability. His attempts to pursue an acting career failed, leaving him with supporting roles and mounting pressure to live up to his childhood fame. As he entered adolescence, alcohol became his escape. At 17, he got into trouble with the law for driving without a license. Friends later admitted that he drank regularly, masking the burden of growing up in the spotlight that vanished too quickly. The worst happened in 2019. While driving drunk on Highway 111, Nicholas lost control of his Infiniti SUV and struck a tree. At just 19 years old, his life ended, leaving family, friends, and former co-stars in shock. Beverly Mitchell described his death as an irreparable loss. Nicholas Bruno played Sam Camden on the TV series Seven the Heaven in 2000 at the age of just 2. He tragically died in 2019 at the age of 19, with an estimated net worth of less than $100, mostly from inheritance and support from his family from the show. Beverly Mitchell as Lucy Camden. Lucy Camden is the emotional heart of Seventh Heaven, sweet, always willing to help, and always wanting to be taken seriously. Her character grows up on screen as the third Camden daughter, facing storylines that mirror the ups and downs of real teenage life. But playing Lucy also came at a high price. Mitchell has often admitted that the emotional burden of Lucy's drama, jealousy, heartbreak, and constant tears took a toll on her mental health. In her late teens, she struggled with social anxiety, worrying she wasn't good enough, even while starring in one of the most popular family sitcoms. Her personal life brought even deeper sadness. In 2018, after giving birth to 2 daughters, Mitchell suffered a miscarriage in the 5th month of her pregnancy, when her third child, a boy, was born. She fell into depression and needed therapy to cope with her grief. She bravely shared her story with the public, hoping it would make other mothers feel less alone. There were obstacles along the way, including her public breakup with husband Michael Cameron, which made headlines in 2020. Despite the challenges, Mitchell persevered, finding new work in Christmas films and co-hosting the podcast Catching Up with the Camden, while reconnecting with her TV family. Beverly Mitchell played Lucy Camden in the film Seventh Heaven in 1996, when she was only 15 years old. In 2025, she is 44 years old, a mother of 3, and has an estimated net worth of $2 million, thanks to her roles in Seven the Heaven, and later roles such as The Secret Life of the American Teenager. Barry Watson chung vai Matt Camden. Matt Camden is the responsible eldest son who struggles to balance independence with family loyalty. Barry Watson imbues the character with a combination of charm and sincerity that makes Matt one of the most beloved characters on the show. However, Barry's career is marked by challenges far greater than those Matt faces on screen. After the success of Seventh Heaven, followed by What About Brian and Samantha Who, Barry's world came crashing down in 2008 when he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Chemotherapy forced him to give up acting, and the fear of dying young haunted him even after achieving remission. In 2017, the cancer returned, and with it came depression. Barry publicly admitted that the cycle of treatments, surgeries, and uncertainty left him terrified and exhausted. Yet he persevered, using his position to encourage others to continue the fight. Though he admitted he often felt broken inside, the pressure from Hollywood didn't help. During the peak of his run on Seventh Heaven, Watson drove himself to exhaustion, subsisting on caffeine and overworking until his health collapsed. His first marriage ended in divorce, followed by custody battles, before he found stability with actress Natasha Gregson Wagner and their daughter Clover. Barry Watson played Matt Camden in Seven the Heaven in 1996, at the age of 22. In 2025, he would have been 51 years old, still starring in shows like Heart of Dixie and The Gossip Girl reboot, and his net worth would have been estimated at $3 million. Lorenzo Bruno as David Camden. David Camden, Sam's twin brother, is the other half of the mischievous duo that keeps the Camden family on their toes. Along with his siblings in real life, Lorenzo Bruno joined the series Seventh Heaven as a child, growing up on screen for 93 episodes from seasons 5 to 11. However, like his brother Nicholas, Lorenzo's life took an abrupt turn once the cameras stopped rolling. His fame ended too soon, his studies ended in failure, and he struggled to build a career outside of show business. His frustration led him to partying, drinking, and reckless decisions that would shape him well into his youth. By the time he turned 18, he had developed dangerous habits. Friends recall late-night gambling and fast driving, and in 2018 he was even arrested for petty theft. The once beloved television star was now just another young man searching for direction in a world that seemed to have forgotten him after his childhood fame. Tragedy struck on February 9, 2020. Lorenzo lost control of his Porsche 944 at high speed in San Bernardino and collided with a truck. The accident left him dead at the scene. At the age of 21, a painful reminder of the fate that also befell his twin brother. Stephen Collins called his death the loss of another son. Lorenzo Brino played David Camden in the film Seventh Heaven in 2000. At the age of just 2, he tragically died in 2020 at the age of 21, with a net worth of approximately $50, largely due to his legacy from the film and his family's support. Jessica Biel as Mary Camden. Mary Camden is the bold, rebellious eldest daughter, a basketball star who disagrees with her parents and refuses to be the perfect Camden. Jessica Biel brings to Mary a personality that is both believable and unpredictable, but behind this success lies scandal. In 2000, Biel, at the age of 17, posed topless for Gear magazine in an attempt to break away from her innocent, pure image. The backlash was immediate. Conservative fans revolted, and the producers of the series Seventh Heaven removed her from the main cast. What seemed like the end of her career forced her to redefine herself. Even as she built her Hollywood career, she felt immense pressure. In 2004, she admitted that she struggled with an eating disorder stemming from her constant need to look perfect. Films like The Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Illusionist brought her immense fame, but behind closed doors, Biel struggled with her own insecurities. Her marriage to Justin Timberlake added to the tension in her public life. Although the couple married in 2012, in 2019, rumors of infidelity nearly led to their breakup. They weathered the storm, raising 2 sons, Silas and Phineas. Biel, however, admits the pressure took its toll. Jessica Biel played Mary Camden in the 1996 film Seventh Heaven at just 14 years old. In 2025, she will be 43 years old, still acting and producing projects such as Candy on Hulu, and her net worth is estimated at $20 million. Rachel Blanchard as Roxanne Richardson, a confident and pragmatic police officer who walked into Seventh Heaven and immediately made an impression. On screen, Roxanne was brave, bold, and unafraid to speak her mind, especially when it came to her lover, Martin. She was a symbol of strength and independence, bringing a refreshing energy to the show's later years. But behind this menacing image, Rachel Blanchard's real life was far more fragile than anyone could have imagined. Under the glare of lights and red carpets, she quietly fought some of the darkest battles of her life. After her breakthrough role in Clueless, Rachel faced Hollywood's ruthless beauty standards. The constant pressure to stay slim became unbearable. By the late 2000s, her obsession with maintaining a perfect image escalated into a serious eating disorder. In 2011, she was hospitalized after years of forcing herself to vomit to maintain her weight. She later confessed in interviews that she felt trapped by the industry, terrified that gaining even a few pounds would end her career. Her admission shocked fans, who had always perceived her as radiant and confident. But her struggles didn't begin there. In 2005, Rachel was in a serious bicycle accident that could have ended everything. She broke her leg and suffered a head injury, leaving doctors doubting she would ever play again. The recovery was long, painful, and emotionally draining. For months, she battled fear and doubt, fearing that the girl who once lit up the screen might never return. When she finally stepped in front of the camera, she was no longer the same person. The trauma changed her, leaving invisible scars. Her personal life was also turbulent. Her marriage to Major Kirkby collapsed in 2015 after years of tension, arguments, and a difficult custody battle over their son, Oso. The couple's financial problems only deepened the wounds. Rachel admitted that her love of shopping and poor spending habits had driven her into debt, adding another layer of stress to an already crumbling life. Yet despite each setback, Rachel found a way to bounce back. She rebuilt her confidence, prioritized her mental health, and gradually returned to acting. Today, in 2025, at the age of 49, Rachel Blanchard continues to work in film and television, most notably in The Magicians. With an estimated net worth of $1.5 million, she may not live the glamorous life people imagine, but she has found something far more precious: peace. Her journey from self-destruction to recovery is a reminder that true strength lies not in perfection, but in weathering the storms life throws our way and finding the courage to keep going. George Stults as Kevin Kinkirk, a name Seventh Heaven fans will never forget. As the tough yet gentle police officer who married Lucy Camden, Kevin quickly became one of the show's most beloved characters. Viewers admired his quiet strength, loyalty, and the calm he brought to the chaotic Camden household. On screen, he was the epitome of stability and devotion. But behind this polished image, George Stults' life was full of unexpected twists and painful challenges that nearly broke him more than once. Before George found fame, his heart belonged to football. He dreamed of a professional career and was considered one of the most promising players in his college years. However, in 1998, tragedy struck. A serious head injury sustained during a match left him with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and chronic anxiety. It was a devastating blow to the young man whose life revolved around sports. The physical pain subsided over time, but the emotional scars never truly healed. His football dreams were dashed forever, forcing George to start over from scratch. Acting entered his life almost by accident. A way to cope, express himself, find meaning. Hollywood offered him a fresh start, and for a time, it seemed he'd found peace. But fate continued to test him. In 2011, George suffered a serious leg injury during a skiing trip. Doctors warned him he might never fully recover, and the fear of losing another career haunted him for months. Endless therapy sessions, sleepless nights, and uncertainty nearly drove him to the brink. In 2012, his marriage to Charlotte Wakefield collapsed. A painful, public event rife with gossip and accusations. Although the domestic violence charges were later dropped, the emotional toll was immense. George's career stalled. Casting stopped. For a time, he completely disappeared from the Hollywood radar. However, true to his former role, George persevered. In 2025, at the age of 50, George Stults continues to rebuild. He has guest starred on shows like Finder and rediscovered his creative voice behind the camera. His net worth is approximately $1 million, modest by Hollywood standards, but every penny symbolizes his resilience and survival. He may no longer be the rising star he once was, but his story proves that even when dreams crumble, something beautiful can still be rebuilt from the pieces.